What's up, everybody? It's your boy JB, and I am here today, you guys, with a brand new review for the Real Housewives of Atlanta. This is season number 14, episode 2. The episode was titled About Last Night, you guys. So, before we do get into it, if you guys are watching this video or any other video on the channel and you guys aren't subscribed yet, then I need you guys to do me a solid favor and stop taking out on this date and having me pay for it at the end of it. You guys know the routine. You can do me that favor by liking the video, subscribing to the channel, turning on your post notifications, you guys, and also by sharing the video. And with that out of the way, without further ado, let us go ahead and get into this episode of The Real Housewives of Atlanta, shall we? All right, you guys. So before we get into it, I want you guys to tell me if you guys watched the episode, like, what did you guys think about it? How do you guys feel leaving the episode? I have my feelings about the episode, and we gonna discuss it. Now, I will say, if you you guys may not like what I have to say, I'm just gonna say that right off the top, right off the rip. There may be people who might not like what I have to say, but it is what it is, and we gonna rock and roll with it. We gonna rock and roll with it. Give me a second, you guys, because I'm trying to do something real quick. I just sent a picture. I'm trying to upload a picture that I just sent to my damn computer, but I don't know where the picture is. But yeah, like I said, tell me what you guys thought about it, and we will discuss it as we get into it. But let's go ahead and get into the review, you guys. So, where do we want to start up with? Let's start up with Shamia. Actually, no, let's start up with Angela because here's my thing. When it comes to Angela, y'all, I'm still trying to get a good read on Angela. I know somebody in the comments last week said, let's add Angela to the list of people that lie this season. And I think I have to agree with y'all because I don't know what's what when it comes to Angela. I honestly don't know what is what when it comes to Angela because I Angela is an interesting one, and I can't get a good read on Angela if she's telling us the truth about things or if she's making stuff up for the sake of the show and for the sake of a storyline. Because it's very interesting when it comes to Miss Angela. So we see Angela as she's having coffee with her daughter. Now her daughter is talking about she wants to open up a coffee shop, and then the daughter is asking her why is grandmother not here, and so we find out that the daughter went over to Angela's mama's house to get the car that Angela provided for her mama. And hey, Wit, how are you doing today? So then the daughter says that when she got over there, they asked her for money because she wanted to use the car. And then she said her aunt came up to her, called her a demon and all this kind of stuff, and said, F them. And so Angela's like, you didn't tell me this. And I was like, huh? I'm sorry. If I go over to somebody's house and a family member cusses me out, I would have told my mama, like, I went over to, let, let me use my grandmother for example. If I went over to my grandmother's house, which this wouldn't happen, but if I went to my grandma's house and one of my uncles or aunts were there and they started cussing me out and going off on me, the first thing I'm gonna do is call my mom and be like, your brother or your sister is acting kind of weird over here with me right about now. And I would have left, but she just found out about this on camera. I found that quite weird too, but I was like, okay, I mean, I guess the math don't be mathing when it comes to Angela. I'm just not understanding the mathematics when it comes to Angela, but neither here nor there, right? So then Angela lets us know that her mother was diagnosed with bipolarism. I was like, okay, that would make sense if it was your mama who did this, because she said her mom doesn't take her medication because she says her mom says that she was healed from it. I was like, I don't think I don't know anybody that's has bipolarism, but I also do not believe that that's how it works, ma'am. If you're bipolar and you don't take your medication, you will become man. You will be go through manic episodes. So I mean, again, like I said, when it comes to Angela, the math just don't math when it comes to Angela. For me personally, it just don't math. But if that's what Angela wants, if that's Angela's story, I'm not gonna sit here and say she's lying. But I just don't. The math don't math for me. So then after that, we found out that her daughter is married, and this was confusing to me too. The theatrics that Angela started crying, the daughter was crying. I was like, what is going on here? Like, I kid you guys not, I was entirely confused about the whole situation with Angela, her daughter, her mama. It just, none of this shit made sense to me. So then after that, we see a scene with Angela and she's with Charles. So she's telling Charles about the whole situation at her party. And I still think it's something there with, hey, Chef Don, how you doing today? I hope you are feeling good because I saw your Instagram stories that you were in the hospital. So I hope you're doing well. I'm sending you nothing but positive and well wishes. I really hope you're doing well. But when it comes to Angela, like y'all, I don't know what's what when it comes to Angela. I can't put my finger on Angela because the scene with her and Charles just does not seem interested in anything that Angela is talking about. Like, Charles don't seem interested at all in anything she's talking about. Then she's telling him about the stuff with Portia. Honestly, you guys, I do believe that there's something that Angela is leaving out when it comes to this whole relationship with Charles. Like, it's something that she ain't telling. And I know people have talked about her son, well, his Charles' son, and they think that he's a break baby or something like that, right? Well, not even a break baby, but just he cheated baby. Like, it's something awful. It's something I'm the math ain't math with Angela. So I think I'm gonna agree with the person who said it in my comments last week that we're gonna add Angela to the list of people who lie this season with Portia and Drew. Oh, you are so welcome, Chef Don. You're welcome. But yeah, sorry y'all. Somebody decides to call me while I'm on this damn live. I don't know why. Where do we want to go next? Because like I said, and we talked about Angela. Let's talk about Brit. Let's talk about Brit. So let me say this real quick before anybody, before we get into the Brit and Kenya of it all. I'm not a Brit fan. I don't see it for Brit, but I just want to put that on the forefront before we get to it. Chef says, I do feel like Angela is oversharing and also not giving the truth about a lot. I do too. I'm here for her. Oh, I'm here for her sharing her life, but it's something just it ain't adding up for me with Angela. It really ain't adding up for me. Hey, V Spencer, you say, hey, everybody logged in, hit the thumbs up. Come on. Oh, thank you. I appreciate you guys. But yeah, I don't understand the Angela stuff, but Britt. So we see Britt. So Britt met up with Portia for lunch, right? And so Portia is talking to Britt about this stuff with Kenya. And I agree with Portia. I don't think that when Kenya asked Britt about her damn ring, Kenya was not being shady towards Britt. Honestly, coming into it, I think Britt might have wanted a little bit of a moment with Kenya. And I think most people, when it comes to Real Housewives of Atlanta, newbies, I think most people expect to get the Kenya that Portia got with Kenya, the Kenya from season 5 on up. But I think after season 13, Kenya was like, you know what, we gonna dial it back, and we've been getting a more calmer Kenya, and I think Britt came in wanting the Kenya from season 5 through 13, and she just didn't get that person. And so, Portia's like, but Kenya hadn't done that to the other girls, which, she's come in and she's gotten, I think Kenya came in, she was getting to know everybody. But like I said, I think Britt may have had a little bit of ulterior motives, wanting to come at Kenya, trying to get her riled up, get her to earn her paycheck, so to speak. I think that's what it was. But you guys tell me what you think and what you feel. So Portia also brought up the fact that, Britt mentioned her pistol, right? I want to say this real quick. Because in the blogs, it was always reported that Britt said she got, a pow pow for bitches like Kenya, but she didn't say that. She did mention it more than once that she had her pistol, right? But she never, I don't feel like she was. Here's what I will say. Yes, Britt mentioned the pistol, right? And I want to say this about Kenya. If Kenya felt so threatened by Britt, go to production, which I think she did go to production. If that didn't work, girl, go to the police and file a damn police report against the girl. File a restraining order against her. Do something. If you're that threatened by her, like if you're that threatened by Britt, do something to get her away from you. That's how I feel. Chef says I feel like that too. She wanted to come for Kenya because she is Kenya. I definitely do believe that that's what Britt was doing. I definitely believe that that's what Britt was doing. So Britt says that she can apologize to Kenya and move forward. Now, I will say this. You can apologize to Kenya till the cows come home, right? Kenya doesn't have to listen to your apology. Kenya doesn't have to accept your apology. So the apology, kind of like what Dr. Jackie said, the apology is for you. And in this particular case, the apology is for Britt. It's not for Kenya. I think Britt probably got home and realized, you know what, damn, I went a little too hard. I did it a little bit too much. I feel like somebody got in Britt's ear and was like, girl, all that shit that you did, it wasn't called for. It wasn't called for. V. Spencer says, when they were in the lobby, the first mention of it was about the location. Right. Having Kelly mention her bodyguard were good. The second and third time were aimed directly at Kenya. Yeah, I mean, she kept direct talking about the pistol towards Kenya the last few times, and I was like, why you keep mentioning this pistol, right? I was irritated with her when she kept mentioning, it's like, girl, shut up. What are you gonna do with the pistol? Like, you gonna pistol whip her? You gonna pow her? Like, you're not saying what you're gonna. You just keep mentioning it, right? So what I will say, I said it last week and I'll say it again this week. It's wrong on both parts. It's wrong on Britt's part and it's wrong on Kenya's part. Now, again, like I said, John, we may have a different opinion once we get to it, but I'm gonna talk about Kenya's event once we get to that because I have some feelings about that. But I really have some feelings about what I'm seeing on social media, and it's not even really direct. It's directed towards this, but it's about the stuff that I'm seeing on social media that's very interesting to me because a lot of people are upset with Cynthia, and a lot of people are praising her friend Akila. But we'll talk about that once we get to it. So let's talk about Shamia real quick. So with Shamia, let me get Shamia on the screen. So Shamia had Britt and this is my point exactly. She's saying it for a reason. I would have went to APD because don't play exactly. That's how I feel when it comes to like if she is threatening. She is saying it as a threat. And if you feel like it's a threat, go to the police. Don't do what Kenya did. Like if you feel like somebody's threatening you, then what you did, Kenya, that's provoking. And I'm not gonna provoke somebody that is mentioning that they got a fucking pistol. I'm like, you know what? I'm not playing with you. Let's get the police involved with this shit. Like, I'm not gonna provoke somebody. Like, I'm not gonna do that. I value my life far too much to play with anything when it comes to a firearm. We can. Here's the thing about me. I'm not afraid of nobody. If it comes to physical fight, we can fight. We can fight with our hands and we can fight with our words. But when it comes to firearms, I'm not fighting with that. You can't fight with. You can't fight a bullet, and I'm not gonna play with a bullet. So we can read each other down. If you want to scrap, we can scrap. But the first mention of a firearm, I'm gonna be like, you know what? Get me the fuck away from this person. Get me to the police station. Get me the fuck away from it. Or wherever they were. Yeah. Like hell, get me the fuck away from that shit. Ain't no fucking way. So I thought it was interesting that Shamia had Angela and Britt over to her home, right? So Angela is talking about how she got backlash from the owner of the venue. And I think she got backlash because of how they kept talking about that venue being in Bankhead. And even the fact that Britt mentioned the pistol in there and outside on the premises, I think that's what the person was upset about, right? Because the venue looked very nice, but they kept talking about where the venue is located, right? Then Britt comes and Britt is talking about how she's feeling bad. I'm like, Britt, I think you really feeling bad because somebody, again, like I said, I feel like a producer or somebody got in Britt's ear and was like, girl, you turned up too much and it wasn't necessary. And so now I think that's why Britt is now like, oh, I wasn't threatening Kenya. I would never want her to feel that way. Well, she feels that way because that's what you were doing, Britt. Like, stop, like, don't gaslight people. That's exactly what you were doing to the woman. You were threatening her. It's absolutely what you were doing. You could have, I mean, you could have said, bitch, don't try me. All the stuff that you could have said all the stuff that you said and left out the whole pistol of it all. You could have read Kenya you could have read Kenya, you could have did whatever you want to do, but mentioning the pistol thing, I was like, girl, I think you're doing a little bit too much. Hey, Belle, how are you doing today? So we find out that Angela is the one who wrote that question about can you be nice to Brit or whatever it said. I was like, huh. Angela, here's a little thing about another thing about Angela. Angela, I see you. You messy because you text Kenya telling her what Brit did was wrong, but then you talking about you have Brit's back. Oh, Angela, you are coming off like Sheree a little bit. You coming off a little bit like Sheree. V Spencer says production put the battery in her back before the scene, and Trey Energizer Bunny Brit went rogue. Yeah. Chef says I feel like Angela should have told Kenya. Yeah, Angela is messy, and I've got my good eye on her. You say, "Yep, clock it, JB." She messy as hell. Angela is definitely yeah, she's definitely the bone carrier. She's definitely that. Is she a good one? I don't know about that. That's y'all can tell me how y'all feel about Angela. So Shamia then asked Angela when she got home, did she ask Charles about the stuff that Portia said? She says no. But then we see another, like this is what I say when it comes to Angela. I'm trying to read Angela. I can't read Angela because Angela's telling Shamia she didn't ask him. But then in another scene, we see her talking to Charles about it, and Charles don't seem like he give a fuck. I don't know how to read. It's just Angela's an interesting one because I can read everybody. I can read Britt. I can kind of read Kelly, but I cannot read Angela for nothing. Angela is an interesting one to me. Angela is an interesting one. Okay, so you don't believe that that scene was filmed? Okay, out of order. Okay, because I'm looking at it like that's very interesting. That's what it is. The edit does not make sense because I'm like, huh? This editing was way off. Because I was like, one thing you say you didn't ask him, but then another thing we see him you talking to him about it. So maybe I don't know. It's just really interesting how they edit that scene. This episode overall it was a good episode until we get to Kenya. Until we get to Kenya, like Kenya. Y'all know I've not always been a big Kenya fan, right? And hey, Greta, how are you doing today? But y'all know I've not always been a big Kenya fan. I've grown to like Kenya after season 13 when Portia left. And what I will say is when it comes to Kenya, I was mostly just disappointed in her because we know Kenya's with the bullshit. We know Kenya's with the theatrics, right? But like I said last week, of all the places that you could do this at, why would you choose to do it at your opening of your hair spa? And y'all know y'all know I like Candy, but I didn't always watch Speak on It with Candy. But I did watch that last Speak on It that she did with Kenya, where Kenya was upset and I saw that interview she did with Carlos King, where she talked about the fact that she filmed scenes about her hair spa season 15, but they chose not to show it. And then in the season finale, they only showed a glimpse of her hair spa. Like you never get a second chance to have a grand opening, number one. And you never, and also I will say, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. And Kenya, this is a this is a second first impression. Like you you had this was the prime opportunity just to show your business, but you overshadowed your business. And I was looking last week to see if her hair spa is open, and I see she's only open a few days during the week and on the weekend. That ain't got nothing to do with. I'm just putting that out there, but like, why would you do that? Bell says I agree with Chef. I think the editing is out of step. Yeah, not Chef said y'all got what I was saying. LOL. Yeah, the editing is out of. I never got what you were saying. Oh, you say, and they have new producers this season from last season, which you can tell. So Kenya should have done this better. Absolutely. Absolutely should have done this better. Kenya is a seasoned housewife at this point. If you wanted to, here's the thing. What Kenya should have done when it comes to Brit, if Brit has an event, do what you did to fucking Marlo with the band. Kenya Moore here, like do what you did at Marlo's event. Don't fuck up your event. Riri Cook says Kenya, aka Child Kenya Moore, shows time and time again that she hasn't changed. So let's go ahead and let's get to Portia real quick, and then we'll wrap it up with Kenya's hair care event. So Portia, we see Portia, her and Kelly went down to Kenya's salon. I'm so glad that when Kelly went, she didn't have on different color shoes this time. So they're looking for some models to walk, in the opening of Kenya's hair spot, right? So they also did talk about Brit and the last time, the last time that they were together, right? So Portia is talking about the whole pistol of it all. Kenya says she heard what she heard, which you did hear what you heard. You heard it, right? But like I said, if here's my thing with Kenya, if you felt it in your heart that she was threatening you, why not go straight from that event and go to the police and report it? It's on camera, so you have all the evidence there. Like, ugh. Wait, you say LOJ, but that's how they are sold. Really? Really? I thought the same thing. My child, who would buy? What? Them probably was some expensive shoes, but really, that's how they sold. Okay, that is interesting. Oh God, that's interesting. So that's a choice, baby. Them ugly ass shoes. One shoe was green and the other one was pink, right? Child, if y'all, you know what, ladies, if y'all like it, I love it. If y'all like it, I love it. Because I really thought that she wore two different color shoes on purpose, like was being trying to be funny, but they were okay. Interesting, interesting, interesting. That's all I'm gonna keep saying is interesting. Now what I will say is I found it interesting that Kelly sat there and lied. Because Kelly, you lied in this scene, telling Kenya that you did not hear Britt say that. Girl, you were beside Britt the entire time. You were standing beside Britt when y'all were inside of the establishment. You were standing beside Britt when she was talking to her husband getting demiked. She said it more than once, and each time she said it, you were standing right there beside Britt. So Kelly, you're lying, and I don't know why you lied. Was it to protect your friend? But I mean, okay, okay, Kelly. So Kenya, here's my thing for you because you're saying in this scene exactly, exactly, and she said security out loud twice after she said it. Like Kelly literally sat there and lied, and I still don't get why she lied. Kenya, let me get into you real quick because you're talking about this girl coming for you, and you got too much to lose, right? You said it out loud. Literally, you got too much to lose, and then you literally let this newbie, you let somebody who is new to this show get you that riled up and get you off this show. You never let Portia get you to that point. And you and Portia had been going at each other for years. Portia pulled your hair at the fucking reunion, and you still didn't give Portia any of this fever that you gave Britt. Tanya, you didn't even give, you brought the cookie later on, and you and Tanya went back and forth. You didn't even give Tanya that energy. Kim Fields, even though what you did to Kim, I still don't agree with you when you got up out your seat and pulled Kim Fields' chair. But even with Kim Fields, you didn't let Kim Fields get you that far out of character. Cousin It from last season, that lady came on trying you from the minute she stepped on the scene. Cousin It tried you. You didn't let her. You didn't even let her get you out of character. I've named 4 people. Phaedra Parks. When yeah, you said you would knock her teeth out when she was pregnant. Yeah, they pulled up a clip of you with your pow pow, right? You still never allowed any of these 5 women to take you so far out of character to do anything that you did to Brit. Why did you allow Brit to do this to you? She was. I agree, Chef Don Don. She was a fool with Kim Fields. But even with Kim Fields, you didn't go to the gutter. Again, you went too far. You did go. You was a fool with Kim Fields. But even with Kim Fields, you didn't even do this with like hell. Let's talk about the worst Kim of them all, Kim Zolciak. That trash box. She came for you. There are so many things that you could have done to Kim, but you didn't go that far with Kim. And that is somebody who I feel is deserving of everything that you can dig up on her. If you can find anything on Kim Zolciak, definitely bring that up on that. But you didn't even go. You didn't even go to the depths of hell with Kim. And I wish you had gone to the depths of hell with Kim Fields. I mean, not Kim Fields, Kim Zolciak. But okay, you let Britt get you out of character. And again, at your own events, I'm not gonna understand. Like, there's no justification for your own event, Kenya. No justification. And I don't care what anybody has. I don't care what anybody has to say. Y'all can agree or disagree with me about that, but there isn't, because I do see people on social media trying to justify. Well, you can't. Which again, I know you can't not dictate how a person reacts to being anything happening to them, right? But why would you go as far as to ruin your own event? Your event was overshadowed by this. Your event was completely over. Like, nobody talks about your event, even in this episode with this scene. That's all we did see the hair show, and it was beautiful. Now I didn't realize that was into if they hadn't put that caption on the bottom of who the people were, I would have never guessed that one model was Manietta. Because I was like, is that Manietta? It was all the hair. Like, but okay, Kenya. Bell says my problem is that it was her event. Like, exactly. So let's go ahead and wrap it up with Kenya's event. Let's go ahead and wrap it on up with Kenya's event, because Kenya, the event looked beautiful. You had a lot of people there showing you love and support. Ms. Lawrence was there. It's like, why, Kenya? V Spencer says, I don't have a problem with what Kenya did. However, I do have an issue with how and where. Yeah. Ajoba says, twirling at the wrong time. Child, and then when she said, I've been that bitch, I'm still that bitch, and then blew it dust. I said, Kenya, you paid her dust at that event, but you ain't paying Brit dust here. You are giving Brit all the attention in the world, and I wouldn't have done it. Me personally, I wouldn't have done it. So, like I said, we see their hair show. It's the Bonner brothers. I never can pronounce that, but y'all know it's the hair show that they used to have. I don't know if they still had that hair show in Atlanta, but I know they used to do it back in the early 2000s, right? So we see as Cynthia, Portia, and Shamia were talking, and they were talking about what happened at the event where Angela and Shamia made up. So Cynthia was like, "So how about you and Drew, Portia?" And Portia was like, "Nope, didn't do it." Which again, when it comes to Portia and Drew, honestly, you guys, I think they both lying. I know people say that they think it's just Portia. Y'all, no, I think it's both Drew and Portia. I think it's both Drew and Portia that are both lying, and I'm gonna tell you guys why. Because Drew went up to Portia to have a conversation with Portia. Portia was paying Drew dust, right? But Drew said that because Portia, like, you could have talked to me about this. Drew says that they talked at her birthday. I was like, huh? I thought Portia said she didn't come, and I thought you said that she didn't come. Like, what the fuck? Again, y'all, I really believe that Portia drew Dennis. I don't know about the man in the basement, but I know my inclination is that Portia, Drew, and Coach Dennis all got together and concocted this storyline. I don't believe nothing that any one of them are saying. I know some of y'all believe it's just all Portia that's lying. No, y'all, I don't think it's just Portia. I think it's all three of them. V Spencer says the whole announcement was cringy. It was. The way Kenya was downing shots like Ebony, preparing for, oh my God, I'm hollering. Oh God, the way Kenya was downing them shots like Ebony preparing to dance for Junior. Child, I just came to dance for y'all. Oh, that is my movie. But yeah, again, like I said, I think they're all lying. That's all I got to say. So Britt came with her apology and a card for Kenya. Kenya ignored her. Now, I'm not gonna sit here and say, "Oh, I'm upset that Kenya ignored Britt when it comes to the card and to the flowers." No, if Kenya didn't want to accept the apology, that's fine. She ain't got to accept it, so Britt ended up leaving, right? So then Kenya got up, and that's when she gave that speech. I've been that bitch. I'm still that bitch. And she blew dust. I said, "Oh God, Kenya, that was so cringy." And I was, if Kenya would have left it as she's been that bitch, still that bitch, and all that kind of stuff, I would be like, okay, Kenya, you good, you good. Then you start talking about Brit. I was like, oh fuck, why are we talking about Brit? She's not even in here, and this ain't even about Brit. This is about you. This is about you, Kenya. So then Kenya goes on to talk about Brit threatening her, and again, Kenya, if you really felt that threatened by her, go to the police. It's that simple. They got it on camera. She can lie all she wants to and say she didn't say it. It's on camera. Production would have to release that footage, like they did with Candace and Monique. Production would have to release that footage. So whatever. But even if you felt threatened by the girl, why do this? Because Kenya is talking about she had a background check done on the girl. I was like, okay, fine. You pulling a quad with Lisa Nicole Cloud. You got a background check. Cool. Cool. You had a background check done on her. That's fine. So then she pulls out the poster boards. Who is this hoe? I was like, oh God, no, no. Who is this hoe? So the first who is this hoe she had was, I guess, which we can see that Brit has had work done on her face and her body. And I saw out on social media, there are videos of Brit circling around when she was in her adult film days, right? And here's the thing that I'm going to say, because I know a lot of people are trying to shame her. I'm not going to shame her, right? Because I don't have a problem with people I don't have a problem with, people who are entertainers, exotic dancers, as they used to call them back in the day. I don't have a problem with people who, do adult acts for money. I mean, because I watch it. Let's be real. I watch it. So I don't have a problem with it. Get your money how you get your money. And I don't have a problem with that, right? So then the next one, she showed Brit being a video vixen, right? Cool. Leave it at that. But then you see Bravo brings it up where they said the images were very graphic and they could not show them. And then you hear Cynthia saying nobody wanted to see her sucking dick. I said, oh, fuck. So you do have a picture of the girl sucking dick. Why? I get Kenya said that she hired a private investigator. You could have left it at the video vixen and who is this hoe. If you had done those two things, I think you would have been fine. But showing the girl sucking, I mean, even if it is on social, even if it is on the internet, we all have a past, right? And I think there's things, and some people do things in their past that they don't, they've done it, but they would prefer never to bring it back up, right? Because I mean, let's not forget, Nene was a stripper, right? But she wasn't ashamed of that. But I don't think, like, when Nene was on the show and current day Nene, I don't think Nene would want anybody to bring up, like, if there were pictures of her circling around. I don't think Nene would want anybody to bring that to the camera. So you can feel how you want to feel about Britt, but I just don't agree with Kenya. I don't have a problem with her doing all the stuff that she did, but damn. Again, my biggest gripe is you did it at your own event. That's my biggest gripe is that you did it at your own event. Because once this happened, nobody talked about Kenya Moore's, the blogs did not report about your spa. They talked about this shit that you did with Brit. And then production, they suspended filming you. So, I mean, honestly, I will say, Kenya, I hope it was worth it for you. Honestly, if it was, and then you talking about she's trying to take food out of your daughter's mouth. No, Kenya, she's not. It's honestly you. It's you. Because if you had paid her dust like you said, you should have, honestly, you should have paid Brit dust. Because you could clearly tell Brit wanted a moment. You gave her the moment. Like you gave it to her. Me personally, if I see that somebody is trying me and I ain't done shit to them, I ignore you. Like I don't pay you no attention. Like I see it, it be like it's like I see you want my attention. I'm gonna let you to continue to just chomp at the bits for my attention, and you're not gonna get it. Riri says she had a professional people and she had professional people and bloggers at the event, and what she did was RP, which is a crime. I'm gonna leave it at that. Bell says if you got major skeletons in the closet, don't start no mess on reality TV. Mm, I mean, I get what you're saying, Bill, but I still don't. I get what you're saying. If you got major skeletons in your closet, yeah, I get that. But here's the thing. I think a lot of people got. I mean, let's be honest. I think people got things in their closet they don't. Angela, for example, I think that there's a big skeleton in Angela's closet about that son, but she don't want to talk about it. Here's the thing. If I know some, I mean, even with Marlo, she had skeletons in her closet, and that's the thing. People keep bringing it up to hurt as a dig and to hurt people because like the shit with Marlo happened years ago, but every time people would get mad at her, they kept talking about her mug shots and when she sliced that woman's face. People gonna use anything in your even if it's something that you've done and you talk about it, people still use it as a dig towards you. Uh those skeletons are coming out with Angela. I definitely believe that them skeletons gonna come out with Angela. Now let's talk about what I've been seeing on social media here lately. So Cynthia did an interview. I don't know I think it was with either Entertainment Tonight or it's one of those entertainment shows, right? And she talked about Kenya and how she felt about this situation with Kenya, how she was disappointed in Kenya. But a lot of people are upset with Cynthia for simply stating the truth. Cynthia didn't say nothing bad about Kenya. She said that she's disappointed in Kenya. She said she's been there with Kenya, knowing what Kenya has done to open up this salon, and then to go and do this. She didn't agree with she didn't agree with this. But everybody's talking about Kenya that she's a bad friend, which I did see that somebody posted Nene when Nene was talking about Cynthia on Watch What Happens Live, and they were like, "Oh, Nene was right about Cynthia." But when Nene said that, y'all were upset that Nene said it. But now that it's the narrative is being used for Kenya, it's okay. Which Kenya retweeted that, and I was like, oh shit. Which Cynthia was on Watch What Happens Live last night with Danielle from Color Purple as well. I can't think of her last name right now, but she was from Color Purple and Orange is the New Black, right? Danielle Brooks. And she said that she hadn't talked to Kenya since this. Now, that's a little weird to me. And that's supposed to be your good friend. But okay. And then also Kenya's friend Akila. So Akila posted something, and they said, "Oh, this is what a real friend would do." But I vehemently disagree with this. It says, "So what Akila says is all I'm gonna say is you were provoked and antagonized for 4 episodes. You were the best version of yourself doing every single encounter with every single cast member. The moment the threat was made was the moment action should have been taken. Instead, you were well. That's not the one. It was another one. It was kind of like when she was justifying what Kenya did, but I mean, we're here's a wrong is wrong. Tell your friend she's wrong. Sh- And tell her she's wrong for doing it. If you don't say she's wrong for what she did to Brit, at least say, girl, why would you do it at your own event? That is really my main thing with Kenya. Why do it at your own event? Why do it at your own event? V Spencer says that was over a year ago. That was over a year at this point. Yeah, I mean it's been over a year, but I mean we're seeing it now for the first time. And do I think Kenya can bounce back from this? Absolutely. If Phaedra can bounce back from what she did to Candy, if Portia can bounce back from the Candy situation, Kenya will be fine. Kenya is gonna be fine. Let the dust settle. Do I want Kenya back for season 17? I do. I think it would be good to see Kenya back full time for season 17. I honestly do. But like I said, if scratch Portia, if Phaedra's raggedy ass can bounce back from what she did to Candy, which that was the lowest thing. Hell, if Quan can bounce back from saying that Mariah did coke, I think I think Kenya will be fine. That is if she wants to come back. If she wants to come back, I'll be happy to see Kenya back. If she doesn't, I'm fine with that too. But yeah, you guys, that's really all I got. V Spencer says they need other OGs for season 17 when Kenya comes back, either Candy or the unexpected Nene. Um, I don't know if Candy wants to come back. I think Candy is good, you guys. I think she is good. That girl is doing good with Broadway and everything. So I don't necessarily know if Candy will want to come back. Nene, that's a toss up. I know for the longest time, us YouTubers, we've been saying the door is closed with Nene, but we see that she's back working with NBC. It may be a crack in the door, but y'all remember how she was with Andy when she told him not to mention her name. So we'll see. But same if she wants to come back. But if Kenya comes back, I'm cool with it. Am I looking forward to the rest of this season? Yes and no. And I'm gonna tell you guys why I say no. The no is because I know Phaedra is eventually coming. Well, it ain't no eventually. She's coming back at some point. When that some point is, I don't know. Am I ecstatic for that? Absolutely not. Do I want to talk about Phaedra? Absolutely not. Oh God, no part of me wants to mention Phaedra. But I know, unfortunately, the heifer is back. Why? I do not know. Phaedra, in the 2 seasons she was on Married to Medicine and gave a motherfucking thing. What do y'all think she's gonna give on Real Housewives of Atlanta? But a bunch of lies and bullshit. But hey, Bravo, that was y'all decision to bring her back. Why? I do not know. I think this season. I don't know if y'all think she's gonna save this season because I don't think she's gonna save this season. So I mean, for me, I know a lot of people don't like. I know people have been talking about this season of Real Housewives of Atlanta, but I will say I've been enjoying these 5 episodes that we've gotten. I've actually enjoyed this so far. I don't think Phaedra is needed. I don't think Phaedra was needed. Yeah, and that's the other thing. It's like Britt is about to play victim, and I'm not here for that. I'm not here for that. Like, here's my thing, Britt. If you knew this stuff was in your past, girl, you should have came on here and talked about it. You should have already talked about this shit. Yeah, girl, because you talked about you was a video girl. You should have said, hey, yeah, and I've also done, I've done stuff, in the adult entertainment industry. But that was years ago, and we're fine. We've moved on from that. But that's all I got, you guys. Let me know what you guys thought about this. Like, how do you guys feel when it comes to the whole Kenya thing? I'm pretty sure, if you are okay with what she did at her salon, and if you're okay with what she did, it's okay to state that opinion. I don't have a problem with that. On this channel, we can always agree to disagree. And that's really all I got. But yeah, I definitely do want to know what you guys thought about it overall. Like I said last week, I think two wrongs don't make a right, right? Britt was wrong and Kenya was wrong. So neither one of them are without any fault in this whole situation. But yeah, you guys, that's really all I got. If you like I said, if you guys have anything that you want to share, Leave it in the comment section below. Subscribe to the channel. Turn on your post notifications, and also you guys share the video. And I got to get off of here so I can finish up work and also watch the Married to Medicine reunion part 3. Thank God that shit is over. Because Married to Medicine, briefly talking about it, they need to do that. Needs an overhaul. That show needs an overhaul. Because my God, today, how much more can I deal with of Dr. Heavenly, Simone, Jackie, Quad, Toya, and the rest? But yeah, let me know what you guys think. And I'll see you guys in the next one. So as always, you guys stay safe out there. Take care of yourselves. Wash your hands, you guys. Be blessed. And I will see you guys in Married to Medicine. Oh God, I gotta watch that reunion. I'll see you guys then. Bye.